Hello everyone. Today is Saturday, April 13th, 2024 at 1:23 p.m. in the afternoon. Excuse me. So, excuse me. The attack start the very second that I the very second that I start the video. So I'm tired enough that I need a nap, and I probably should take a nap. Excuse me. I can't even remember simple or basic things anymore. But last night, I don't remember what time I went to bed. But I don't remember if I went to bed after 1 o'clock in the morning. But at 10:30, I felt tired enough to want to go to bed and go to sleep. But I think I did a video after 11 o'clock last night. And, well, I think I went to bed. I don't remember if I went to bed after 1 o'clock in the morning, but my ear is so it's itchy right now, but I woke up. I don't remember exactly what time I woke up, but it was definitely before 7:30 this morning that I woke up and had not gone back to sleep. So, I guess because of being so tired, I dreaded and didn't feel like or didn't want to go down to breakfast, but I tried. I did go down to breakfast, and it was the Hispanic guy downstairs. He told me that there were no more muffins. He said that over 100 people came down, and all those people, it's like, I think that was the guy that had the the attitude the last time. But his attitude was a little bit rude, but not as bad today as the last time, But I don't even know if he didn't hear me or if he was trying to ignore me on purpose when I try to, call his name to his attention, and I ask about the muffins. But they had that milk that sits on the counter without ice or any cooling or anything. It just sits room temperature on the counter for I don't know how many hours. And they were almost out of the Frosted Flakes. And I will never eat Raisin Bran for the rest of my life, I don't think. I really absolutely hate, I never did like Raisin Bran all my life. And if I am forced to eat Raisin Bran, I pick out the raisins, but I haven't had, like Raisin Bran in I don't know how many years. And as an adult, you will never catch me voluntarily going to buy Raisin Bran cereal, So that was filled up. But the Frosted Flakes was almost gone. And regular Corn Flakes I hate just as much as Raisin Bran. But I know Frosted Flakes is GMO, is not healthy and all, but I like Frosted Flakes, but I absolutely hate like regular Corn Flakes or Raisin Bran, but regular plain Cheerios, if the milk is cold enough, I'll tolerate some regular Cheerios. But I love, flavor-wise, I love Honey Nut Cheerios, but I know it ain't good for you because it's GMO and bad for you. I know, I meant to say, I know it's GMO and not healthy. It's not good for you, But, it tastes good. I like Honey Nut Cheerios. But nowadays, I wouldn't go out of my way. And, like, if I had my own place to live, I, you wouldn't really catch me voluntarily buying, Honey Nut Cheerios unless it was on sale and I was very low on money or whatever. But on college campuses, with me being homeless and everything, I would, sometimes eat like the Honey Nut Cheerios or Frosted Flakes or something like that. But the only time you might see me in possession of Raisin Bran is if that's what they distribute at the food banks or food pantry. And even then, I would try to give the box away or I just wouldn't eat it. So yeah, he told me this morning that there were no more muffins. Like, why every time when he's working, there's no more muffins? But I think I don't even know if he just have an attitude and lazy and just don't want to get any muffins, or if they really do run out. It's like the second time in a row. But if people being like abusive, narcissistic perps and stuff like that, like he gave me like a really bad attitude. Like, I don't remember if it was on Easter holiday or I just remember it was recently and on a Sunday. But yeah. But I mean, but it's like only when he's there, they always, oh, they ran out because you're just too lazy and don't want to go and get any out of the closet. But they have two women that work mostly during the weekdays, but I thought I usually see them on the weekends too. And when they work, one of them kind of get a little bit annoyed with me about everything about me, and she works closely with him. But the other one, you know, the other one, she'd be more than glad to, go and get me, whatever muffin I would like to have, but, so, okay, so, I mean, I just, okay. Oh, I'm just reading messages that, popping up on my phone. Um, so what I did was I went to, go somewhere. I waited until, about lunchtime hours, like around 11 o'clock. And I had pancakes, ham, and milk, And then I came back here. I had very small amount of gang stalking. And then they had chemtrails like right over me, But like when you go somewhere to eat and somebody doesn't fill your cup up of milk all the way, and then a couple of minutes later, another customer comes in and you see that they filled that person's milk all the way to the brim. But the pancakes were so huge. And there was a lot of ham too. But I made myself eat it all because I really I don't like leftover. I mean, I don't mind leftover ham, but like leftover pancakes, certain foods I don't like leftover, But like leftover pancakes and then have to microwave them, gross and disgusting. But if it was warmed up in the oven, that's a different story. But I ate all the pancakes and ham, and then and I drank the milk, and then it seemed like the housekeeper strategically waited for me to be gone to come and service my room. And I didn't see, I didn't see a do not disturb sign. But they took away, the tissue the toilet paper that I had, and I had to chase them down and come and ask for more toilet paper, So, but it's like they serviced my room while I was gone. So I mean, I ate like a late breakfast during lunch hours, and I guess it costed about $15, and then I won't eat anything. Like I should drink something. I mean, I should drink some water in between, But I won't eat anything else until dinner. And I won't have snack or dessert today. Well, I don't think I will, but like yesterday, the food from the day before, I put it in the refrigerator, and then I microwaved it yesterday and ate like half of it, and then put it back in the refrigerator. And with it being so salty, I don't know if it, I think that I have done something like that before, even when I was living in Bloomington, and I turned out to be all right. Or even living in past like hotels or motel stays. So I may not get sick. I probably won't get sick or get food poisoning or whatever. But so I'm waiting on a refund from DoorDash since they didn't have an item that I needed, but I ordered from another place and got the item that I needed, my soap. I got the soap this morning, and so, now I can take a shower. Yeah, that other soap, the hotel soap. It's weird to call soap nasty, but well, I guess you could get a free pass from calling a soap nasty. Excuse me, if it's like chemical soap. But yeah, that soap, I don't like that soap. So I got soap that will it's more natural, and keep me from being itchy or whatever. But I haven't itched or anything like that really in the past few days or whatever, or past couple of days or so. But yeah, but I this morning, like when I was eating my breakfast, I thought about an idea for another short story, but I am too tired and too sleepy at the moment to work on anything, So I didn't realize that the fake Stephon Adams perp, it looks like as if he was using AI meme generator to make memes and jokes about me, and and this morning online, with me trying to ask for advice about my the jail situation and certain other issues in my life. you know, I had to deal with like a lot of abusive, narcissistic, and rude people. And they had a black guy that's supposed to be from Detroit, Michigan, and he responded to everybody else but skipped over and ignored me. You know, he's supposed to be in the so-called TI community and profess to be Christian and targeted. You know. But I've been feeling like deeply hurt, about even people in the so-called TI community that abuse me and treat me no different from the gang stalkers. Or they want to ignore me like I don't exist, So, this morning when I woke up, I forgot what dreams I had last night, but when I woke up, with the unwanted, intrusive thought of the flashback of I think it was I don't remember if it was a Mississippi or Alabama. I think it was Alabama. And it was a female police officer. I don't remember her name. And she you know she bragged about, sadistically tasing a black guy so hard that he cried. And it's like people don't even have to be criminals to experience police brutality. And then, so I woke up and I just shuddered at the thought of that on my mind this morning, And then, there was somebody in the TI community on Twitter that told me that, that I'm being, targeted by the police, CAD or something like that, I think that's what she said. And imagine being 14 years old and a foster child and targeted by police. My targeting and gang stalking started with the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, that Kraft family, and the fake, the abusive, narcissistic, fake Gretna police. So, excuse me. So then, excuse me, they're making my nose itch. And then, even when I was in high school, I thought that if I just got away from the foster family, all my problems would go away. And, I could live the American dream, or live my American dream. Live my American dream. And I just thought I was going to be this successful OBGYN in the Air Force and travel the world and have, settle down with a Hispanic husband. This was my old thinking when I was a young kid, excuse me, have a Hispanic husband and be fluent in Spanish and have a 3-story house, not 2 but 3-story house with both an indoor and an outdoor swimming pool and indoor and outdoor jacuzzi, and living how the celebrities live, and be rich and have like a brand new luxury SUV with the sunroof, and and have like 3 kids, and at least one boy and at least one girl, and if it can be 2 boys and one girl or 2 girls and one boy, and then excuse me, and and have like a couple of cats or something. No dogs, but like a couple of cats, and maybe an aquarium with some fish, or or maybe maybe a pet ferret or something. Who knows, but excuse me, but nobody ever told me or taught me or informed me about this idea that in order to live nice like that, you gotta do satanic rituals and sell your soul to the devil. I mistakenly thought that if you just go to college and make good grades, then anybody will hire you and you could work anywhere in the country, and you went to an accredited university. Yeah, the people were telling me that I went to an accredited university, and they said, oh, you'll get hired anywhere. And I had no idea that I would be 40 years old with not even simple, basic rights. And to be stalked, followed, and harassed, and, in approximately a decade and a half after graduating from college, to find out that I've been, like, the reason why I can't get a job anywhere is that I've been blacklisted. So, and everything is thinking back from foster care. So, and so I heard that a lot of the gang, and I think Alex Jones talked about that a lot of gang stalking happens because of this thing of what, pre-crime. Not any crime, but if they're stalking you because they think that you're likely to commit a crime. But the thing is, people say that most TIs are law-abiding citizens, and if they end up in jail, why did I almost accidentally say gaol? I mean, if they end up in jail, then it's a lot of the times it's a gang stalking setup, or if a TI, but then they keep poking and prodding and taunting and harassing and antagonizing and provoking us on purpose to get good people and innocent people to lash out. That's why when you hear stories about people committing a terrorist attack or a mass shooting or something, you hear that, the next door neighbor said that they were quiet and never bothered anybody. Or that they were very friendly and nice, and then you hear that, either they were MK Ultra to commit the crime, or they were falsely accused or falsely framed and set up for such and such a crime, and was the fall guy, or if a perp committed a crime and made it look like the target did it, and then a target, gets murdered by the police, and then the media spins the story and lie and say that the targets committed such and such murder, and then vigilante narcissists on YouTube in the comments section on the videos be like, that's good that we were able to get worthless pieces of shit like this off the earth, or we don't need we don't need scumbags like Michael or this or that or whatever, And the whole while Michael was murdered by cops and set up and freaking innocent the whole time, and then y'all just vigilante hate and believe whatever the mainstream media will lie and say, and because the police, whether truly or falsely, accuse you of the crime, people always, brainwashed to get multiple thumbs up, for defending and agreeing with the cops, and feel like that if you get in trouble by a cop, then you were definitely guilty and you definitely deserve it, and that there is no such thing as innocent people, and that the cops will never make mistakes or be wrong. And if the cops do make mistakes and be wrong, they will people be like, well, cops make mistakes too, or they're human too, but they don't get punished for their mistakes. They get rewarded instead of punished for their not mistakes, but for intentional, malicious, premeditated evil. But I do remember, back in the 80s, police officers, people thought that police officers were cool, or cooler than everybody else, But I think, I don't even remember if after 9/11, I don't even know when did the cop worship or cop idolatry. I don't know when that started. I don't know when that started. When the masses of society and other countries laugh at America because they figure, how can Americans be so dumb? How can Americans be so stupid? But then the brainwashed Americans who are dumb think that they narcissistically think that they're better than everybody else. And then, when you stand up for what's right and get persecuted, and then they be the first to holler, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, when you're not playing a stupid game and winning a stupid prize by being a whistleblower. But that's how backwards they are. Excuse me. But even online, when I'm asking for advice about my jail situation, internet strangers just ready to, with this vigilante, narcissistic, ready to attack, and automatically falsely assume that you got what you deserve and you're guilty, when they don't even know the whole story, but they try to fill in and with their own imagination and guess what they think happened. And their guess is all wrong. If I ask a question about my arrest and they just automatically jump to a conclusion and assume that I disobeyed a cop at a traffic stop and had drugs in the car, And I'm like, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Y'all are all the way off. You know, I have no car. I have no home. But you just fill in the blanks and just freaking create your own fictionalized story. Because, like, when you ask certain questions on certain social media or websites or forums or whatever, you know, sometimes you only get a certain amount of characters to write or a certain amount of space. So you can't really get to, you know, tell everything, you know. But you just try to ask, like, a basic question. And they just fill in the blanks and jump to conclusion and falsely assume. And then get undeserved praise for their false assumption that you did something really, really silly and really, really crazy. And something that's completely and totally not the narrative of what actually happened. Excuse me. But if people say that you are innocent until proven guilty, you know, I mean, the internet strangers think that they are the jury judging your situation, and they don't even, I mean, with just a basic question without any added details or context or anything, you know. Like, when I try to ask for advice about the police telling me that if you don't answer my questions, you're going to jail. And this fake farmer, you know, officer or whatever that bragged about being prestigious about, you know, being a successful writer and writing all these articles or being a successful author and everything. He's the only one with the abusive, narcissistic, fake comment that got a lot of undeserved praise, while other people got like 1 thumbs up or you know, 5 thumbs up. But this asshole is the only one who fraudulently and illegally gets like over 45 thumbs up. You know. But targeted individuals don't even walk around. And I'm pretty sure a lot of homeless people, you know, just in survival mode and don't even walk around trying to commit crimes. You know, but they have some homeless people who do. You know, but I mean, who's gonna criminalize these sex traffickers though? As I said, I'm being treated worse than a murderer. You know, and, you know, people will try to say that I get what I deserve for my phone to be broken and all that. Oh, you were resisting arrest and this and that or whatever. Well, how come I haven't been charged with resisting arrest? You know, but the officers criminally charged me for what they did to me. And the officers were perps. And this morning, after I, you know, when I woke up and had like a shuddered at the thought of that black guy being tased by the white female police officer, you know, and the guy, he cried, you know. And then when I thought about that, I thought about, well, Officer Richards, the older police officer, the one that had the back of her head shaved, or it looked like as if the back of her head was shaved and then she tried to grow it back a little bit. But like, she wrote a bunch of lies and manipulated and twisted so much information in the police report And they still did not name the male officer in the police report. And they didn't tell what they did to me. Or anything that they said that they did, they try to make themselves look innocent. So the fact that she the same officer who wrote up the police report and lied. Yeah, I remember that's the same officer that threw up the 666 hand sign and she snapped her fingers at me like a dog. And I'm like, well, you threw up satanic hand signs, so you a deceiver and you're a liar. And you're a gang stalker. And that officer, the officer, whatever her freaking name is, Alice and Christiana, she was tapping her gun. Like she kept on repeatedly tapping her gun, and I confronted her about it and asked her to stop, and she was being annoying on purpose. And then she looked around, like had this dumb look on her face, like, and dotted her eyes side to side, like as if it was no big deal, or like she didn't care, or like it was nothing wrong with that. But she was perping and trying to gaslight. But that whatever jail in Gretna is filled with a bunch of demonic spirits. And it's traumatizing. I mean, I don't even know if New Orleans is worse. But I never heard of people say NOPD don't play. No, there's always the Jefferson Parish, whatever. I never heard of Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office people saying that. But people say that about Gretna Police and Kenner Police and Westwego Police. That they don't play. Which is a bunch of narcs. Y'all ain't God. Because how you don't play, you strict and don't play, but your life is full of sin and evil and wickedness. But like, you want to play the role of God, or play the role of somebody that's strict and highly authoritative, but at the same time, like your life is full of wickedness and satanic rituals. Even that bully officer, the jail guard, Jay Davis, She even threw up the devil horns hand sign. And it's like, how did they have like people in jail in the same jail dorm as me, and they were perps. But the guys, the section with the guys over on the other side, they were way noisier than us women, They were rowdy, But, now this morning, I made that connection with Officer Michelle Richards, that she threw up the 666 hand sign at me. Like, you wrote up lies in the police report and manipulated and twisted everything and made me sound as crazy and retarded and stupid as possible. And then at the same time, you that same officer that snap your fingers at me like I'm a dog. And you're the same officer that she was more passive, and Officer Christiana was the one who was, who made the whole big scene. She made a whole big scene. you know, and Officer Richards was more quiet and passive and just sat there and let everything go on. And Officer Christiana, the underage child, was like the made the biggest freaking show off, you know. And it's like, how can you lie on me in the police report and leave a lot of details out? Don't even put the third officer on the report, and then you falsely accuse me of making defamatory statements against you. Y'all have proven to me that y'all were gang stalkers. So for me to call you a gang stalker, in which you are, oh, that's defamatory statements. But when y'all lied on me and said that I was ducking and hiding, and lied and said I did this and I did that, that wasn't defamatory. Because if I would have felt like, you know, had it in my heart to be like knowingly committed a crime, I would have never posted YouTube videos of that spot. If I would have feel like I'm trying to commit a crime and hide, I would have never posted up videos of me sitting at that house. If I would have felt like I'm committing a crime. But I'm 40 years old, you know, haven't really gotten in trouble for crimes before, or had not been arrested for crimes, unless that other one time of false accusation of a crime, and they dropped the case and let me out of jail the next morning because I was found not guilty, and they realized that I was scammed online and didn't know. But I mean, I've seen, especially within the past few weeks, seeing multiple videos about police officers threatening people with arrest. And then they will threaten you with arrest, but you have committed no crime. So people need to wake up about the idea of these cops being just power hungry and ego driven. And like this morning I saw a video of somebody, I think his name is Kenneth Knotts. Well, was. And his story was somewhat similar to that guy, Kendall Joseph, that was attacked by police here in Gretna. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not in Gretna at the moment. But it was over in Gretna. In the fake, what's that motherfucker's name? That fake Marshall Camus perp. Or the fake Darnell Williams perp spelled Metairie incorrectly. You spelled it wrong. So, when trying to, you know, criminally, fraudulently, and illegally, you know, publicize, you know, the name and address of the hotel that I'm staying at as a form of intimidation, trying to intimidate me. It's none of your business what hotel I'm staying at. And they had this abusive, narcissistic, fake lady named Cindy. When I try to ask for advice about, you know, the lady, I mean the online perps, you know, illegally finding out what hotels I'm staying in and tracking me and stuff, she falsely accused me of posting up the name and address of whatever hotel I'm staying in, and then started to lecture me about how the internet is public record and this and that or whatever. Oh, once you post it up, I'm like, you didn't even read my fucking question, did you? But you want me to look stupid because of your false assumptions, but you barely even read my question. I said other people, internet strangers, bullying me and gang stalking me, and you know, illegally finding out, you know, finding out what hotel I'm staying at, and then publicize it. and try to manipulate for me to be fearful of that if I spoke out about any gang stalking activity, then I would be wrongfully banned from whatever hotel I'm staying at. But I need to not be scared, though, you know. Excuse me. And the fake Marshall Camus, that was the one who made jokes about how I'm going to be dead and in hell and eating red velvet cake in hell and stuff like that. You know. So, but yeah, what is the conspiracy and what is the secret? That they didn't put Officer Lowry's name on the police report. I never heard of no shit like that. And I heard that a male police officer is not supposed to, that he is not supposed to, you know, what do you call that? That he's not supposed to, frisk a woman. That a female officer is supposed to frisk a woman. So, Officer Lowry came there just to frisk me and pat me down. And then, put me in handcuffs and then left. And at that time, you know, before he put me in handcuffs, you know, Officer Christiana kept bullying me. And she kept bullying me and pressing up against me and rough handling me and talk about answer my questions. You better answer my questions or else you're gonna go to jail. And she kept on threatening to slam me to the ground. I mean, at that time, I did not know that I was committing a crime. I didn't intend to commit a crime. And as I said, even at houses that's for sale, that's not abandoned, you know, even in Pensacola, I saw homeless men sleeping there. And in Pensacola, the cops wouldn't say anything. But I didn't know or I didn't realize it was freaking different over here, you know. And they don't even have any mercy or compassion about me being forced into homelessness due to the targeting and having nowhere to go or not knowing where to go. And you know, and the fake Gretna police officers, you know, and Jefferson Parish sheriffs and Orleans Parish, they're all participating in the gang stalking. So yeah, if you're a gang stalking criminal trying to criminalize and wrongful, I mean, like, these officers need to go to jail or prison for their gang stalking activities. Because they fucking sat there for a while and probably conspiring. And then they drove off and left, and then they pretended like they just saw me. But they came and sat there and paused there. And other officers, even the previous nights, were you know, they will pause right where I'm at. And I'll try to film and record them. And then they will freeze my phone camera until after they drove a certain time down the road. So that I mean, the police have been stalking and following and watching me for 3 fucking nights. And then, you know, it's like they thought of to cover up and lie to make me look bad, but and to make me seem really crazy and stupid. But You know, they didn't tell about how they broke my phone and, you know, kicked, stumped, and dragged my jacket and threw my backpack. And kept cussing me out and threatening me. And they didn't even have any compassion on my homeless situation. You know, and they probably prejudiced the homeless people. I probably was already an adult or almost close there before Allison Christiana was even conceived or something like that. Or maybe she might be older than I think. But she damn sure looks like she's like no older than 25 years old. Now, with Kenneth Knotts, excuse me, his story was somewhat similar to Kendall Joseph of Gretna. And I didn't even realize there was public outcry about Kendall Joseph. So, in Gretna, it was on Gretna Boulevard that Kendall Joseph went to the just like convenience store or some small store or something. And he went there, and his family, I mean, Kendall Joseph was probably targeted, and his family manipulated to the news that he was mental and crazy, or he probably was brainwashed to believe that he was mental and crazy when he probably wasn't. And so he mentioned about, you know, that he knew in advance that, you know, the police were trying to kill him. And then a bunch of male officers and Anthony Christiana, I don't know if he's related to Allison, but Anthony Christiana, I think, was one of the officers that was that jumped him. Kendall Joseph got jumped by a bunch of both black and white police officers. And they beat him to death. And he was warning people in advance, and people thought he was crazy, and they didn't believe him. And I think I remember he was beat to death, got jumped, and was beat to death by Gretna police. And they tried to make it like he was just mental and crazy or something. So then I heard this story about somebody named Kenneth Knotts, Knotts. And Kenneth Knotts, excuse me, I saw a YouTube video where he, you know, they try to say that he, was traveling from Austin to, I don't remember what city. From Austin, if not Austin to Dallas, it was Austin to some other city in Texas. And I don't know if they try to say that that he had like a flat tire or something like that. He was traveling with his family. And they tried to spin the narrative to say that he was suffering a mental health episode. And they put him in handcuffs and put him on a hospital bed. And he was crying out for water. And the officers rough handled and abused him. And like they said that he predicted his own death. They made it like he predicted his own death minutes before he died. But no, it wasn't him predicting, supernaturally predicting his own death. He was warning people, and like he was warning people that Austin police was trying to kill him. And then afterwards, excuse me, after Austin police was trying to kill him, he went to another city, and then the other city of police officers had killed him. And they try to spin the false narrative that he was mental and crazy or bipolar or schizophrenic or whatever, you know. And they try to make it like he was having like a mental health episode. And they say he went into cardiac arrest due to the police brutality. And he was crying out for water, and nobody took him seriously or believed him. None of the officers nor the and they tried to say, "Oh, you had enough water." He was crying out for more water, and excuse me, he was crying out for more water, and you know, and then after that, excuse me, he was crying out for more water, and he you know, they just kept brutalizing him until he died. And then once he was lifeless, you know, once he died, the cops hurried up and ran out of the hospital room when they noticed that when they noticed that he finally died. The cops hurried up and ran out of the hospital room. You know, but I saw another video where it was a white lady that was acting like a Karen neighbor and complaining about her neighbor's dogs. And then the police officer went to see about the neighbor, and the neighbor was on his own property, and he basically told the police that he committed if he's guilty of a crime, pretty much, you know, lock me up. So he basically said, you know, if I'm guilty, and lock me up, you know. So then, you know, he was cursing or whatever, and one of the younger officers that looked not far off from childhood, and he told the man that he was gonna go to jail for cursing or whatever, and the man was like, what, you know. And then the police hypocritically cursed at him, and then he went inside the yard by the dogs. And then, you know, the man cursed again, and the police came right behind him and rough handled him and slammed him to the ground and tased him multiple times and said, "You're gonna, if you stop resisting, or you're gonna get it again. You're gonna get it again." You know, and they tased him multiple times, and the man, I don't know if that was his mom or his wife or who that female was, but she was begging the police not to take him to jail, you know. And then there was another man that came onto the property, maybe another neighbor, that cursed, and then the police said, well, let's just get out of here. Let's get the fuck out of here. We ain't got time for this shit. And everybody was appalled at the officer's hypocrisy. You know, and then, like, they had this homeless man. The police, it was a homeless white man, and the police kept harassing him. And, and I think they tried to say he was trespassed from Family Dollar. And then, he was sitting on the sidewalk, and they still took him to jail and wrongfully trespassed him and took him to jail and lied and said that he was trespassing on the private property when you know, he would, and then, like, he wasn't even on the Family Dollar property. And then his friend that was filming everything, the police tried to threaten to take him to jail too. And then another incident, this Hispanic family was, you know, panhandling, you know, on the streets. And the officer gave them a citation. And then there was one of the auditors or whatever that was filming. And then, you know, he asked the officer for some money, and the officer ignored him. And then, you know, the same officer that wrote the mother a ticket. And then the auditor and he went to give the family $1, you know. But, you know, it's like ever since the jail incident that I went through, like on just about every channel, like now I'm getting like video suggestions or recommendations about body cam footage or police activity and this and that or whatever, you know. Excuse me, but I mean, like, people think that the police are the only people who have the license and the right to commit crimes. Like, nobody acknowledges that the police committed crimes against me, and people are telling me that I got what I deserve. You know. But people say, do not let the police take away your right to film. You know. But, like, in the beginning, you know, I did not know or was not even aware that I was committing a crime. And you know, as I said, the police kept on multiple cars passing by for 3 days. And then I would even try to film some of them passing by, harassing me. And then they would, you know, freeze my phone camera and stuff. So while everybody's persecuting me and calling me guilty and saying I get what I deserve or that I'm a criminal or whatever, they want to try to say that the gang stalking setup or whatever, or the conspiracy is irrelevant, and they just want to spin the narrative to make Candy look guilty, 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 and wrong, wrong, wrong. You know, but I mean, the officer broke my phone. I mean, she cracked the phone screen. And she intentionally stumped, kicked, and dragged my jacket and threw my backpack. And she kept cursing me out and threatening me. But they were women who were big on ego and power. You know. and like in the Bible mentions about fear of man. You know. And then people say never trust a cop. You know. But I heard that my I don't remember which amendment, but out of the Constitution and stuff like that, that officer, I'm sorry, not officer, that fake public defender, Patrick Sens, denying my right to a trial, denying my constitutional right to a trial. You know, excuse me, and denying my right to a trial, and you know, by making it like as if you're trying to bully and coerce me to take a plea, and making it like as if I'm wasting my, like as if for me to try to take this to trial is a waste of time. You know, if Gretna police is motivated by money and quotas and you know, betting on how many people they could throw in jail, and just this cult-like pressure to throw somebody in jail, you know, throw as many people in jail as possible to meet quotas and money and everything, when they have people that's lessly, I mean, you know, and for them to try to make like society is a victim of my so-called crime of fighting to survive as a forced homeless targeted individual that's suffering with the gang stalking. But me being in this predicament and forced homeless and dealing with being gang stalked. I mean, the officers that participating in the gang stalking, they should be put in prison for felonies. For felonies. I hadn't even been out here trying to hurt people. And the fake TI perps that sold out, you motherfuckers, like, y'all shouldn't even be allowed to be eligible for any reparations. Y'all reparations is y'all whatever fake gifts you get for selling out. That's your reparations right there. But, you know, when the regular gang stalkers go down, or if they go down, the fake TI perps need to go down too. Excuse me. So, why is the fake Marshall Camus, Joseph Camus, or fake Darnell Williams perp talking about that I'm gonna die soon? You know, and even around, you know, around fake Christmas or whatever, the fake Aquarium Doors perp was trying to talk about how 2024 will be the year of more and more jail and more homelessness, and that I'm gonna die. And basically they all trying to make it like I'm not gonna live to see 2024, or not gonna live through 2024. And then, you know, this perp come and trying to make like they're warning me. You know, warning me that I'm going to go back to jail. And that when I go back to jail, there will be like a street theater set up to cause me to fight on purpose, to cause me to be in jail longer. How do you know this if you're a real TI? But you're a perp. Excuse me. So, I mean, I can't even beat people up. With my disability, I can't beat people up. So, you know, I can't beat people up, but, so, oh. I can't beat people up. So, I mean, excuse me. And the fake Aquarium Doris perp talking about that I will go back to jail and that it will be 33 days and not 30. Well, if I were to go back to jail and I survive the 30 whatever doggone days, and it be that Masonic 33 number of days that I've been in jail, I will come out back out of jail and I will expose that the jail and everything is part of the gang stalking, the setup, the Masonic 33 setup. I will come and freaking tell it and expose it. So, the online perps probably fraudulently and illegally knew before I know, when it's not their business, and they delusionally believe that they're babysitters who own me. You don't even have legal conservatorship over me, but you act like you delusionally believe that you can traffic and control and bully somebody online. And y'all are the criminal wrongdoers. Like the fake Darnell Williams perp and the fake Aquarian Doris perp, Starbreaker, my twin sister, and her devout cult followers, Jessica Ricketts Holdings, and Stephon Adams, and all these fake TI perps, you know, and the perps in person. Y'all should go to jail before me. The perps in Pensacola, the housing agency and the neighbors and stuff that caused me to be back homeless again. The fake, you know, y'all should be in jail or prison before me, because what y'all doing is way bigger. Now, how do gang stalkers break in and enter the target's home and poison their food and drug up the target and destroy their property and you know, poison and kill the pets, and then, I mean, why don't they jail those gang stalkers? I mean, it's like y'all get, and that's what made me question if the gang stalkers got qualified immunity just like the regular cops. You know. So, I don't know if tomorrow or Monday will be the last of the funds that I have. But I would hate to have to be back on the streets Monday or Tuesday. You know, it's hard. It's like being homeless on the streets is like an alternative prison. You know, it's an alternative jail or prison. And I would wake up when I would be homeless on the streets in Pensacola, and I would wake up in the morning and be like, what did I do to deserve this punishment? And the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, used to make it like as if I'm going to wind up in jail or dead and deserve it, or she used to make jail threats or threats to have me locked up in a mental institution. And then my twin sister started doing that to me. And then she had biological family members treating me like that too. And narcissistically bullying and abusing me for no reason. And narcissistically lecturing me about my behavior. Let me tell you about what Mark would do. Send for me to come over by his house on a random weekend. To treat me like as if I'm just punished and in detention. Well, why you send for me to come over if you don't want to act like you don't want to be bothered? And then you get an attitude with me and yell at me and be rude and treat me like I don't exist. But then wait until you're smacking food to force me to take my earbuds or earphones off and try to force me to listen to you talk while you're smacking food and pretending that you're trying to tell me something that's fake important. You know, on purpose to trigger and provoke me. You know, and then if I ask why you get an attitude with me for no reason, and then you say copy off the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, the same woman you claim you can't stand, but you act just like her, and point in my face and be like, start your shit here, start your shit here, Candy, and watch I have your ass locked up in a mental institution, or whatever, you know. And then Mark would do stuff like snoop through my belongings in front of my face and steal my money in front of my face and dare me to stand up to him. And if I, you know, question or confront him about stealing my money in front of my face, you know, or snooping through my stuff in front of my face, even in my own apartment. And then he would try to order me around and tell me what to do and dish out orders telling me what to do and say, I'm a grown adult. This is my brother. And him nitpicking. And it's like, motherfucker, your house ain't no cleaner than mine. You got roaches all over your house. You know, when I was living in Los Angeles, the housing inspectors would tell me that I got the cleanest house that they ever seen. Even, like, no matter what city and state, when I would have these Section 8 inspections, they will always tell me that I got the cleanest house that they ever seen. And Mark would copy off the fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, would try to dish out orders telling me what to do. And, excuse me, dish out orders telling me what to do and want me to be a cleanup slave in my own apartment. And then say, well, I better have, when I come back, I better see these dishes washed. I better see this, I better see that, and I better see this floor mopped and this and that or whatever. And then Mark would ghost me and then go AWOL on me and I don't even see or hear from him for months. I did not realize all these years that Mark is a fucking perp and a narcissistic abuser. Mark fucking sold his soul. Wyatt freaking sold his soul. Raymond sold his soul. Monica sold her soul. How the fuck she get that damn house with the, you know, excuse me, they making my nose itch. With that, Habitat for Humanity and was plastered all over the damn news. So many news freaking so many news articles. You know, the other niece, Brittany, freaking sold out in Masonic, has her own hair business. And got Masonic checkerboard, like, and I do not know if the biological dad, Arthur Grand Prix, was a Freemason. I know he was in the military and he fought in the Korean War. But I do not know for sure if he was a Freemason. There are some people who talk, like, outsiders who hear about the story when I talk about how the family talk about Arthur's not your daddy and because you're not light-skinned and this and that, whatever. Some people say that it's possible that Arthur sold us out. You know, sold us out to the gang stalking on MK Ultra. Other people say it was the foster mom that sold us out. But Arthur was never my handler. The biological dad, Arthur, was not my he was never my handler. But people try to say that Brandy, Mark, and they never really said it about Wyatt, but they say that Brandy, Mark, and Ramona, you know, are pretty much my main handlers. And people were trying to say that, you know, the foster mom, Adrian Felder, you know, was one of my main handlers. And they have some people say that even when I was living in different cities and states, they would say that Adrian Felder was still, you know, controlling me or still, still know about everything I do, you know. But we were in our 30s, and it was 2015, and my twin sister would tell me that John Kraft from the Kraft family would tell the foster mom stuff about her, and the foster mom would get on her case about it, like as if the foster mom was still trying to have control over us, or control our life decisions. But like the foster mom basically, when I was living in Denton, Texas, the foster mom never called me up and asked me how I'm doing or nothing like that. I had to kiss her ass and call her. And excuse me. When I was living in Los Angeles, I never really called her. But then in 2015, I went to visit, but she pretended to be extra fake happy though. And then she gave me $40 and say, spend it wisely. But I was like 32 years old. And then in 2017, when I saw her and I heard she had a stroke, she, pretended to be fake nice and give me $40 and then say, spend it wisely. I'm not a fucking child anymore. And she rich living the high life, but she's so damn cheap with everything. Painfully cheap. But she would spend lavish on herself and other people's kids. But the foster kids she didn't like, we deserve to be punished with nothing but goodwill. Or everything that's like 90% off clearance. As I said, I was 8 years old in 3rd grade, wearing the foster sister Joni, the foster sister April, and the foster cousin Mildred's hand-me-down clothes. And I was 18 years old in college, still being forced to have to wear the same clothes from when I was in 3rd grade, y'all. And going to college with no money. Foster mom sent me off to college with no money. And everybody else around me, all the other college students, fraudulently and illegally driving around in nice brand new SUVs and stuff. And the foster mom had the college dorm students and the host mom stalking and spying on me and reporting everything back to her. Stalking and spying and trying to control me and treating me like a child and report everything back to her. If I'm 18 years old and an adult and in college, and if it's the month of May and it's 75 degrees, but I still feel kind of cold and have to hear narcissistic lectures about how stupid I am because it's too hot with that jacket. Well, motherfucker, I'm cold. I am cold. It's not a doggone crime to wear a jacket when you feel cold. And then talking about, take that jacket off, you're making me hot. Oh, look at how stupid your hair looks. Like, leave me the fuck alone. Oh, you don't walk to Walmart by yourself. I would be going to my classes. Say, for example, I could be going to my geography class. And the students would, the students would pin me down and hold me back, talk about, you don't walk to Walmart by yourself. And I'm like, I'm trying to go to class, what the hell are you talking about? Oh, damn. Now, you know what? Now, all of a sudden, they got freaking gnats and flies up in here. Yeah, the housekeeper probably let the fly or gnat up in here while I was gone. The fly, it nearly touched my face. It came close to touching my face. So, anyway. So, they will always falsely accuse me or falsely assume that I'm about to walk to Walmart by myself. And I'm like, it's freaking broad daylight. I'm not a child. Leave me alone. Mind your business. And I asked the foster mom, why does she have, if the kids don't care about me, why are they doing that? And she's like, for your safety, duh! And I would have moments where I would be in distress and have like an emotional meltdown to the point of passing out and fainting. And then, the foster mom would try to control how everybody sees me and have everybody else treat me like a punished child with no rights. And another thing, out of the Kraft family, the foster mom, she used to have the Kraft family stalker spy on me. Stalk and spy on us and report back everything. And people would try to say that Lanika was one of my main handlers. Okay, well, how come none of the other Kraft family was considered any of my handlers? And they were another freaking family that had like a bunch of chaos and dysfunction in their life. And freaking Freemason family members. A lot of chaos and dysfunction in their life. And then, stalk and spy on and trying to point out everybody else, and they had a reputation for being meddlesome and nosy. And people will say that Mr. Freddie was so nosy. He was the main one who they said was but then a lot of the other Kraft family members, like, they had a reputation for being very nosy. But guess what? They weren't the only nosy people in the neighborhood. They had a lot of fake Gretna, Masonic ghetto fake Gretna, excuse me, where they, where a whole bunch of the people in the neighborhood try to get in all your business or whatever. But guess what? If you ask Mr. Freddie or any Kraft family about their personal business, they go off. They get mad and go off on you. One time, the oldest daughter that probably was blood sacrificed, Bob, and she was disabled. Like, she was mentally handicapped and disabled. And I heard that she was born normal, but then had that she fell when she was 9 years old, and they were supposedly living in California. But you know what? John Kraft, he lies so damn much. Excuse me, and Bob, we didn't understand when she was talking about, she would ask for a coloring book, and she would say, I want my teller book, like a 3-year-old, and she was like 40-something years old, but I was a kid myself, and she would ask about, she would always ask about, I want my teller book. So I thought she was trying to mix telephone and book, and I didn't realize I was a young, toddler myself, and I didn't realize she was trying to say, I want a coloring book, and she would be like in her 40s or something, and so she died, and Miss Ollie told me that she was too hurt to go to her own daughter's funeral, but it's a lot of a lot of Masonic blood sacrificing in that doggone Kraft family, and a lot of cover-ups. And a lot of sex trafficking in that doggone family. But, you think you're better than me to freaking stick your nose in my business and make up lies on me. When John Kraft would lie to the foster mom and falsely accuse me of prostituting. I was freaking 11 years old. Waiting on a freaking bus. And the foster mom would come and confront me. And I'm an 11-year-old kid, minding my business, standing at the bus stop. But, whoever drive down the street, I would wave and say hi, because like one time me, Brandy, Joni, and I think Wyatt, I don't remember if Mark was already gone. And I think we went to that Mary's Bakery, and we got some donuts. And then we were walking around the neighborhood and trying to get back home, I guess. And they had these people at this house or whatever. And this lady, she was dark skinned but had just a lot of skin discoloration. But I don't know if it was from burns or if she had vitiligo or what was wrong with her skin. And she was like, "What's the matter with y'all? Y'all gonna speak?" And we were like, "Oh, well, all this that we heard about don't talk to strangers, and I think I remember they lectured us on how we should speak to people or whatever, But so I guess ever since then, I tell everybody hi, But the foster mom had this so-called cousin named Neighbor. No, her name was Nada, who was a down the street neighbor from us. And the foster mom claimed that was her cousin, but then she claimed the Kraft family was her cousins, And then Ann's cousin Nada, who also was a perp, and and then Nada said, "Well, you're supposed to speak." And I'm like, "Oh, why? I didn't realize, But I remember they had this elderly lady, She would try to tell me one time, it was my senior year in high school, and she gave me this jealous, hateful kind of look. And she was like, "You need to lose some weight." I was 17 years old, 5 feet 2 inches tall, and about 145 pounds. But I was 130 pounds being called fat and greedy. No matter how, I could be anorexic looking skinny, and people will still call me fat and greedy. I can be looking like a dying orphan in a foreign country, and you still call me fat and greedy. Excuse me. And we were kids in the fake foster mom, and she would say that we're going to grow up to be big as a house. But they would have a few other people in the neighborhood that would ask us nosy questions and manipulate for it to seem like we have to answer their questions. They would ask us nosy questions and then run back and tell the foster mom or the foster brother Joe. Like this man named Benjamin, that used to, excuse me, be one of the workers that was called Vince Seafood. And Mr. Ben used to ask us nosy questions. And the foster mom used to buy seafood from him all the time. And that man used to ask nosy questions when the foster mom would send us to get seafood. And then when the foster mom would come to get her own seafood, then he would tell the woman everything we said, and then get the story manipulated and twisted up, and then we get in all sorts of trouble or all kinds of punished. And they used to have this light-skinned lady and this brown-skinned lady. Both of them used to live in the orange apartments around the corner. And they used to always ask us nosy questions about the foster brother Joe. Stuff we didn't even know. And we were like in junior high, like, and it seemed like, are they trying to set us up for Joe to give us another beat down? But, even, a lot of the Kraft family members used to, ask us nosy questions, and then run back to the foster mom when we were getting shitloads, loads and loads of trouble. Or like traumatizing beatings. You know. Or fake IDMR cult members will try to do the same thing and just want to be messy. And then when we get in our asses whipped, they kick back and laugh. Like, the neighborhood didn't like us even when we were in fucking first grade. They hated both me and my twin sister. They didn't like us when we were kindergarten and first grade. And like all of society, they just looked down on us and hated us and couldn't stand us, you know. And, you know, people in society, they stigmatized and, you know, they stigmatized and judged and was prejudiced of us for being foster kids. And it's like, well, people have more compassion and love for stray animals than for foster children and for homeless people. But like they used to have this database of foster kids for sale that nobody wanted. Nobody wanted them because of their disabilities. I'm like, this is fucked up, you know. Nobody wanted the, you know, nobody wanted them because of their disabilities, you know. But, I mean, but yeah, I was too young to know that. I don't think the entire city of Gretna is Masonic, but all that area by the police station and by the courthouse and all of that, and downtown Gretna is very Masonic. And all these Masonic black churches. I even saw some, like on South Broad Avenue in New Orleans, I saw some Masonic black churches. You know, and it being like black neighborhoods and being like these Prince Hall Freemasons and stuff, you know. And the Kraft family being Masonic. The fake foster mom, Adrian Felder, related to, like, she married a fucking Grammy award-winning musician. You know, that Joseph Zigaboo modelist. He was a Grammy winning musician. So, you know, he excuse me, had a taste in Hollywood. He was part of the music group The Funky Meters. The foster mom, Adrian Felder, had her last 2 biological kids by him. You know. So, the foster family is Masonic and rich and living the high life. Like the fake foster cousin Shelby, you'll never catch Shelby homeless. Oh, but Cricket and some of her siblings, you know, it seemed like I don't even know if they're targeted. But Cricket is the foster mom, Adrian Felder's cousin. And Cricket, and Adrian Felder was raising Cricket's daughter, Joni, the foster sister, Joni. And Adrian Felder, she acted like as if she was Cricket, her own cousin Cricket's handler. And she was controlling and abusive towards Cricket. And treated Cricket, you know, Critty is her real name, Critty or Cricket, you know. She treated Cricket like a punished child with no rights. And Cricket had to beg the foster mom for permission to visit her own biological granddaughter, and Adrian Felder would tell her no. I say, I'm sick and tired of you forcing demands on me, Cricket. How could you do that? But if I would have done that to somebody, the foster mom would have been like, that's not your child. Well, Adrian Felder, India is not your fucking child. You know. But yeah, I mean, but that one brother of Cricket's, that Byron guy, he I don't recall him ever doing me anything, but he like, how you driving around in the doggone Jaguar? He used to have a Jaguar, you know, rich living the high life. But I don't know if Cricket has ever been homeless, and Cricket, I don't think she ever been on drugs. But the foster mom just made it look like as if Cricket was such a horrible person and a failure of a parent and this and that or whatever. And then she tried to make it like Cricket was crazy with mental issues, and you know, she used to make it like Cricket was fat and greedy. You know. And then, you know, they used to call Joni fat but not greedy. But Joni used to get depressed and overeat, and I would get depressed and overeat, you know, feeling depressed. And, you know, but the real greed is selling your soul. That's the real greedy thing, you know, to sell your soul. But I don't know if the storage space on my phone is running out, so I'm going to see y'all later.